bracket, just lost their off tank. He's going to be going over to Piece of Cake because Crims is now no longer on that roster. Piece of Cake said that on Twitter, at least, they said that Crims was offered a better opportunity. So you have to imagine that might be an academy spot. It's tough to say, but Piece of Cake now has a different off tank that we'll be seeing later on. But to get into this matchup, as we move away from that little bit of news, and more insight can certainly be found on Reddit, probably as well as Twitter. If you want to look at Piece of Cake's Twitter, they have a little bit of announcement. But starting things off here, Erky. He's going to be on the Pharah and Onigod on the McCree, and Afox actually on the Ana. So we get to see Ana versus Ana for the first time in months, if I'm not mistaken.
And we'll see Craggy drop extremely low, gets taken down. Erky once again opening big here on this Pharah. Finally gets taken down by Havocal, but overall it is still going to be somewhat of an equal fight. Crusade answering with a kill onto Lulzish, could potentially back the rest of the offensive team away. The flashbang not really as successful there coming out of Onigod. Fortunately for him, will allow the rest of the defensive side to eventually regroup, as they will be coming back from spawn. But Onigod now with the Deadeye is gonna look for an angle, doesn't quite get it.
Now he's getting aggressive. They're looking for fusions here. He's getting some big healing now, coming of course from Crusade on the Moira, and they're gonna back these guys off. Onigod almost falling to Crusade there with that Coalescence, and now a minute, actually more than that, pulled off, as they're going to make some changes here to their composition. Erky now going over to the Genji. Onigod actually onto a Reaper. And they are, of course, going to keep this. Ana has the Nano Boost available. So things working out so well for the defense right now. They have Craggy in a great position here.
And this is a really interesting one with this Ana v Ana battle, as Onigod is going to be able to pick up the first kill, being Nano Boosted, made quick work of fusions. The D-suit is going to happen coming out of Vote, but he will have the resuit available. He still finds the box somehow for it all, and Onigod picking up a double of his own should eventually mean that they will get this payload very close to that objective. And the one thing that I was saying prior to that particular team fight is Afox and Bach. Both of these players have really curious playstyles, very entertaining ones to watch, as they've been pretty much the prime supports playing the likes of Sombra time and time again, and it's very nice to see them now. And the Ana as a nade will potentially open up here for Angry Titans to get something done now. We will see that Primal Rage coming out of Lulzish, but Eric is going to be the first one to fall.
Craggy now coming back into the fight, has that tac visor. They're looking to try to get some kills here, but with that sound barrier up, there's no hope. They're getting aggressive on him. They'll find that kill. So tac visor completely denied. And now we'll see Havocal dying off with a late staggered kill onto the D.Va as well. They'll probably just take some time. Actually, they secure that kill rather quickly. They want to keep that payload moving, rather. And Craggy now swapping over to the McCree. A lot of time here. We're going to have to see some aggression coming, of course, from the defense. Those guys wanting to get back in there, surging in, because they have to deal with two very, very potent DPS ults, both from Erky and Onigod in this next fight.
And the Blade is going to be the first one to come out. Gets bionated though, and as a result, forced to play a little bit more defensive than he might have liked, but it doesn't seem like it matters. And it is going to be 2 kills in favor of Angry Titans. It will continue to push forward, and no other kills secured just yet, but Onigod now will be lying in wait with that Death Blossom, and if he can get a big one here, it might shut down the defensive side again.
So overall, a strong start now as they're keeping the pace up in this next stage, but it's going to be a lot of ults used here for those guys. It's going to be Onigod coming through, though, with the Death Blossom. They're trying to shut him down as he's going forward. Now forced to Wraith, but he's behind the enemy team. Havocal does spot him out, and Erky is down pretty low here over on the point, but they're getting aggressive again. Whole Hog taken out there as Kib now is boosted up. He's going to get a little bit of ult percentage towards the end of it. I don't even know how you do that inside of that, but either way, he's going to come away with 20% after ulting with that Nano Boost up there. And Lulzish has the Primal Rage here for the reset. Erky pretty close to a Nano Blade. Certainly, or sorry, not Nano Blade, a regular Dragon Blade, but the Nano Blade is something to look out for, as Afox is at 70% here. If they kind of take their time here or are able to keep Afox alive long enough to engage with a Nano Blade, that will be a pretty easy way to secure this fight, perhaps.
But Fusions did make the swap over to the Winston. Afox once again gets fouled out by Kib, who managed to get a second kill onto him. as so far with that particular pick, it should shut down this push, especially since Kib gets a kill with the hook at that, and it is going to mean that those guys will continue to hold strong. And this is the thing, right? When you don't have Mercy anymore in the picture right now, a pick is that much more important, and the likes of Kib going huge on that Roadhog, really shutting down this push, means that Angry Titans will look forward to that Dragon Blade to really secure that checkpoint.
Yeah, they're going to really want to engage with this Nano Blade here. Erky just waiting for that opportunity to present itself, wants to be able to dive into the back lane, get those quick little one slashes if he can get it. Nano Boost coming out, the Blade follows, looking for the D.Va. D-Max instantaneously. That's a self-destruct though, but he already found the kill, so they won't find the reset, and now he gets hooked out. Erky very low, will die there to Fusions, as well as some damage being provided by Crusade on that Coalescence. They need to sustain here if they want to keep holding this point. A lot of healing coming out from Crusade, and if no pressure is brought over to this Moira, he will be able to keep Kib alive with this whole hog, and that is exactly the case. Ludi getting tossed around now by the Primal Rage, as Aafox now in a pretty poor position. They might be able to secure this. Block one with a huge return kill onto Onigod, and again, those guys maintain their composure. 30 seconds on the clock. One more opportunity here for Angry Titans.
Only really Nano Boost available though for the defensive side means that they don't have too much to work with, and Aafox now will be making the transition over to the Zenyatta, so at the very least the Discord Orb could help potentially get those tank lines down, because Kib, when he got that Bionade on top of him, was just instantly healed back to full, with the likes of Crusade staying alive as well. And then we'll see the Nano Boost go through. Hafiko is going to be the first one to get a kill. Erky returns one, but Craggy's still going ham on that Tracer. He's going to get Aafox, and one support down. It means things are not looking good here for the offensive push. Even Pulse Bomb going to come through. Doesn't find any real target. Then now with that Coalescence, can they keep them alive? Can they do the damage they need? Fusions finds Erky, and with the make that 3 final members on the point here, it should eventually be the defensive side potentially holding, especially with Havoc getting a kill onto Onigod as well.
Security coming from Bach there, having that biotic grenade, purpling up the offense. They're going to stop them 84.5 meters. They were able to attain after getting that first objective and moving towards the second, but solid hold to start things off for those guys. They looked phenomenal so far in the playoff bracket. They were outstanding in the group stage. And now starting off this fight here, seems like they are well on their way to a very late playoff run, maybe making their way into the winners finals, but still they have a lot in front of them. There's a lot yet to be determined here, and still have to come away with a win here. We've seen already how teams can hold out really, really close with the tank strat. I mean, we've seen teams do well with dive. We've seen now, obviously, the possibility of a second point hold as well. There's a lot of things to take into account here, and nothing is ever assured, ever. We've even seen how a 6.5, basically a 7-minute hold on Anubis can almost happen. I mean, it was almost going to happen. Very, very close there. So nothing is assured, especially in this kind of situation where everything is on the line and teams want to make sure that they're staying on that winner's side so that they don't have, you know, all their tournament hopes riding on every single game, having to win them, or they just go out in the playoffs. Now we're seeing a tank lineup for those guys, and Bach going to be back again on this Ana. So no Lucio boost. Both teams still sticking with the Ana versus Ana, and a lot of healing, obviously, off of this that they want to be able to get, on top of anti-healing to prevent the enemy Moira as well as the enemy Ana. But primarily, I would say the Moira, because you want to be able to slow down those coalescences as well. That's pretty huge. And be able to secure some kills on these tanks, because with these tanks lineups, you don't have the same amount of damage as you saw with dive. So being able to stop that healing is what's going to allow some of these kills to actually come out.
We'll see whether or not this mirrored composition will mean that the side of those guys will be picking up the win here, as they do have quite a bit of time to work with, and that distance definitely obtainable, winnable for them. But Onigod getting a kill onto Kib is gonna open up a good team fight for Angry Titans to start it all off.
Remember, everything's possible. Angry Titans could not easily, but they could make a stop here on this first objective. But now Onigod, he's going to be looking to try to get an early grab, set the pace for this. If they can take this second fight, they could ride the momentum and maybe make a stop here. He's huge on energy right now, 90%. A big purple coming out. Happy Cool finds a kill inside of it anyways, but that's going to be the self-destruct, trying to get the reset. Graviton comes down. They're looking for the kills. They won't find anything just yet. Onigod out of position now, going to be hooked out, and Kid will go down rather. And now we're going to be seeing them going ahead. Those guys looking good right now, but they need to be able to get this Graviton pretty quick here. They need control on the floor. Lulzdish will get closer and closer to that counter Earthshatter to be able to block off Fusions. But so far, Fusions has been phenomenal in these Reinhardt matchups. I don't know. It's a lot to ask for, especially with Lulzdish just having barely squeaked one out against Shark just before.
That was very unfortunate. They're losing that Reinhardt so early meant that Onigod are really unable to do too much of that early charge on the Graviton, which was looking good for them. But now Ballistas on both sides. Whole Hog is going to look to push opponents away. Fusions being the target of that nano boost will mean that Hafikul actually gets the first kill onto Lulzdish. Graviton coming in pretty late from the side of those guys, but doesn't find any kills just yet. However, they should get that checkpoint 1 meter away. Earthshatter, though, is going to come through. Fusion's looking to clean this up. Gets a kill onto Urki, gets a kill onto Elivote, and another one onto Lude. And it will be those guys with 4 minutes and 20 seconds going into this next phase.
Self-destruct ready for Hafikul. He can punish some aggression. That's sure to come out from Angry Titans because they need to start taking some time away. 4 minutes on the clock as we see Lulzdish holding onto that Earthshatter still. He was denied before by a nano-boosted Fusions swinging away, and Onigod close to a Graviton. So definitely look for these two to try to pull these out pretty early on. They want to be able to take this fight here. They don't want the fight to end quickly, though. We talked about that before already, and they're going to come around the side here. Self-destruct comes out, won't find anything. Kib under pressure, though. Graviton is now ready for Onigod. Look for him to try to find a place to put this down. Maybe catch an Ana in there if he can.
It will be contested, though, by Fusions, and as a result, not quite able to find an angle just yet. Even Hafiko lying in way on top if need be. And so far, it is definite resource advantage into this team fight here for the likes of Angry Titans, as they do have 4 of those ultimates to work with. But over from the offense, if they can find a good angle here, they get a huge Graviton. Can they follow it up? It seems like it will be Crusade melting through the opposition as Onigod returns fire, but it's not gonna matter. It's all about those guys cleaning it up on the card, and with 3 minutes remaining, so close to that objective, it's gonna be a desperate attempt out of Angry Titans to even make it.
Can they get back? I mean, they will be able to contest. That's for sure. They do. They already do. But Onigod falls early, so not a lot of time for setup here for Angry Titans. Lulzdish gets hooked out before he's able to get the hammer down. He's still in the air, but they kill him off, and that will ruin the opportunity for that Earthshatter if he does wind up coming back. But I just don't know if they're going to even have that kind of time. Elivote's being able to sustain here for some time now, as Afox has not yet been addressed on the objective, but he's going to get purpled. Won't be able to stay up much longer. That will be those guys taking the first map, and off the back of some excellent play from Crusade, the damage that Moira pushes out is insane. I would not be surprised to see that be the play of the game right at the end there.
It just goes through. It just goes
Fusions
through
swinging, man.
The barriers, and it just melts through alongside that coalescence. But it seems like, yeah, as you said, it is Fusion who just holding down that left click, swinging away with the nano boost, able to cleave him down. We'll get them the kill, and as a result, the win. So we'll be right back with the second map. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody. It does seem that those guys have fixed Route 66. They were looking way better now, and I'm especially impressed by Fusions. He's been playing great, even in the previous series, and now he managed to even get 5k in a single action, which was awesome to see.
Of course, he is magic, if you will, as these Reinhardt battles are really what matters nowadays with the recent additions, with the recent changes, rather. It's really what it can come down to in most team fights. Which Reinhardt can get ahead, which Reinhardt can get a bigger Earth Shatter, and Fusion so far really on top of those.
It's also great to see that Ana is making a comeback. We've seen it on both sides, and it's kind of refreshing since she wasn't used for quite some time. Now, coming up next is Horizon. Angry Titans need to win this one if they want to come back into the series.
And the problem is they already lost on Horizon versus these guys, so man, you really would have liked to banked on the fact that, okay, Route 66, that's where they actually gave up a map in those guys. Let's bring it there, but unable to find it. It's looking kind of dire, but at the very least, Onigod did manage to get a very early Graviton. If they can really make sure the likes of Lulzer stay safe on the Reinhardt and not really die early in that team fight when it comes to their offensive push in that last map, maybe if they can play a little bit better, maybe that's how they're gonna get a win.
Do you think we are going to see Sombra again, considering how much Afox seems to like her?
Considering these two teams, yes, I think it is definitely an option as an opener.
Horizon is ready, let's go.
So starting things off here, you have to wonder, is Kib going to be sticking to this Mei on the attack? We've seen it on defense. Rascal, of course, for London Spitfire, has pulled this out before. But on attack, it's a little bit of a different kind of play. It's a different look. And it could certainly work for them. They could easily take advantage of it, but you have to wonder if he's actually going to stick with it. And he is going to switch, so that is going to be the case. We won't see that just now, and I was curious to see if that was going to happen. But he's going to go over to the Roadhog. They're going to go with the full tank strat here. Urki, as well as Afox. They have a little bit of an anti-strat, I would say, but now they have to get back into position. If they let control go over to those guys very early on, they could lose this very easily. But look at Lulzish just being displaced all over the place. A lot of healing coming out from both sides as well, but Fusions will be going down first as well as Happycool.
The big thing here, at the very least, for Angry Titans is the fact that we've seen how effective Urki can be on Horizon with that Junkrat, and he's already looking to build up that Riptide. Kills overall definitely just coming in from the side of Angry Titans as they will continue to hold. Kib left there at the end alongside Crusade, finally get taken down, and should be an easy hold even into this next team fight, because ult advantage, resource advantage definitely in the likes of the Angry Titans, whereas over on the offensive side, they're gonna look to potentially just get anything out of those ultimates expended just so they can get an advantage afterwards.
I really like the Ana here. Oh, it's such a good play there. Also purpling out the Moira as he's just so safe on this high ground. Going to be able to help Elevo a little bit, but Urki is going to be the one to come through with the big kills. Triple for him as he's now getting pushed on, but he will there secure the kill onto Happycool. They're gonna delay this as well. Going to take more time away as Happycool just going to go ahead and send himself back into space, but Urki will find that kill just for a little bit of extra ult charge. Big thing to come away with here. But again, I want to take note of Afox, how he's just so safe on this high ground here. Nobody can do anything about him. I mean, think about it. Happycool is probably the only person, but if he does go up there, Urki's laying in wait. He's just waiting to try to counter him as soon as he goes up. But they're going to go around. He goes up, gets a little airborne. Actually, sorry, that's Crusade getting a little bit of airborne.
That was really dangerous there because of another very well placed Bionade by Afox. Could have potentially secured the pick, but now we'll see the hook go through, and Whole Hog follow it up from the side of Onigod, but no kills so far. Self-destruct is going to look to displace the opposition. The return coming out of the offense will pick up one from Happycool. Earth Shatter on both sides, but it will be overall number advantage building up for the side of those guys. Happycool picking up Lulzish again. Urki's turning it around with a Riptide though. No! Fusions with the shield was able to stay alive, and as a result, Elivote and that baby diva form lying off to the side, not gonna be enough as Onigod is gonna manage to stay alive for now, but the question is for how long, as we'll see. One tick go through, second tick soon to happen, as well as the whole point cap.
Now they're going to be able to go into this next point, but they won't have too much of that momentum that you like to see going into the second objective. They will have to deal with the Nano Boost as well, and if that goes either to Onigod or Lulzish, that could be a little bit of a problem, because control coming from the Reinhardt option, and a lot of damage as well as displacement if you throw it over to Onigod. So they're going to decide to go over to Lulzish. He gets thrown around a little bit, taken down pretty low. That's the Biotic Grenade coming out just to try to get some extra bit of healing as they take down Fusions. Craggy is backed up here as well, with Onigod unleashing the whole hog. Riptide are ready for Urki, but I don't imagine that they want to pull it out here. They already won the fight. Go ahead and take your prize, and that will be in the form of a late kill onto Half-Cool.
And the potential problem here for those guys is the fact that we'll see Urki set up on that high ground eventually again, and if you don't get something like a hook or a D.Va to really contest him, he's just going to be able to dish out rather free damage onto the opposition. So it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, Lulzish does have the Earth Shatter good to go, but Crusade with a sound barrier of his own and Craggy rapidly approaching that Graviton, he will still potentially look forward to get a teamfight win here. Craggy getting pulled. It'd be really dangerous. Let's go ahead and use the sound barrier to potentially get something done, especially with Half-Cool finding Urki, making it a 6v5. Graviton now finding 4 more. Earth Shatter, though, out of a loser is not going to be enough, as Kib coming in with the whole hog from the side. It's going to be more than enough to pick up the kills. Elivote has with a kill onto Crusade, and now with that Riptide coming out of the spawn, it's not going to be effective, and those guys will be taking that second point with 3 minutes and 19 seconds.
We saw before on Hanamura, the other assault map we've seen today for those guys, how Half-Cool can just run down attackers, or rather defenders, when he's on the D.Va. So he does that again, opens up a big hole where Urki falls. They don't have to worry about the Junkrat, and then they can just control from there. So a big play to start that off, with Half-Cool finding an opening pick on a D.Va. And now they'll swap sides, Bach with an opportunity now to play the Ana against what I imagine is going to be another tank composition. And again, watch the Ana in this matchup and how much control you have with it, because you shut down the healing on what is a very powerful AoE healing composition between Afox and Ludi, both on the Moira and Lucio respectively. On top of that, you also have sleeps to shut things down, create opportunities, create openings. And then you also are just so safe because nobody is able to aggress to that high ground. Nobody's able to kind of encroach on your positioning. So it's incredibly safe to play as well. So I really like this look to be able to bring this Ana out here, especially on first point, even onto second, though. I think it's very safe. I think it's very effective. And it's nice to see Ana back in the mix.
And we might actually see another Mate pick here for Craggy. He favored this one when it comes to Hanamura, second, or rather first point defense. Seems like he's gonna go with it again. And I'm not too surprised because we've already seen the likes of Graceful during the group stage as well as Unfix pick it up on Horizon. So we'll see how Craggy fares, and considering the fact that he played it to very high effectiveness on Hanamura, expected to make things rather annoying here for the likes of Angry Titans.
Teams having a spot of fun between each other in chat right now. You guys can't see it, but I can, so I can enjoy it. But now starting things off here, it's the tank strat, of course, from Angry Titans to start pushing on to point A, and Craggy did stick to that Mei. So they're going to go around the left side. They're going to get caught more than likely here as they come over by Craggy.
We'll see even Lulzish going down, though. And as a result, with Kib finding another kill onto Onigod, it's just going to be cleanup. Man, I'm losing my words here as Kib is picking up a triple kill and already has a Riptide good to go. However, late kill onto Craggy will be a bit unfortunate for the likes of those guys. However, shouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, especially when you have, as said, Kib on that Junkrat good to go with the Riptide.
So now things get a little dangerous, a little dicey as Angry Titans now swap around. They're going to go over to a dive-style composition. And now Bach is going to be under fire. Crusade as well. Both of these supports are going to be trying to just contain each other as they're going to get aggressive on the front line. Lulz just taking a little bit of pressure. We see, of course, that Discord going out. They already found 2 kills. Riptire is available, but Kib is dead. Crusade gonna be able to somehow get off his Transcendence just the nick of time to standing everybody out. Self-destruct goes down. Half-the-Cool secures the kill on Elevote, who just wanted to die out quickly. And somehow, some way, those guys take this fight with the Transcendence to back them up. And Riptire being saved.
That could, as we've seen in the past, very well shut down potential push coming on the offensive side. And we'll see if it will do just that, as Kib is off by his lonesome self for now on the side. We'll be able to just spam away that primary fire. We'll have the support of a team if need be too, of course. But Crag, even playing a little bit far forward, off of that high ground, will be forced to potentially recall. But Kib already picking up a double with that Riptire is going to be huge. Now make it a triple. But some matches coming in from the opposing side. Elevote picking up a kill of himself. However, it seems like it's not going to matter. It is going to be all about those guys.
Interesting that Bach threw out the nano boost. I'm trying to determine why that was going to be necessary, because they threw it onto Kib, trying obviously to get some more charge towards Riptire. Same kind of concept you see with throwing it onto a Zarya who doesn't have Graviton. You know, you just want to be able to generate that ult rather quickly, but the fight was already concluding. He wasn't able to get much done, so he's only coming away from that fight with about 20%. Now, of course, he's up to about 30, but backing off now, they're not going to have that nano boost available here, which you might want to have had onto Fusions.
Elevote picking up a double kill off of the self-destruct could enable Angry Titans to finally get onto this point and get a win. Crag is still looking to answer though as it gets a kill onto Aafox. Looking for more. Onigod though picking out Fusions in the end. Doesn't mean that Crag is going to be the final one to go out here for those guys, but with so much time already lost, things are not looking good for Angry Titans, but at the very least they will have quite a few ultimates to potentially snowball second point take.
Bach now going to try to stay safe in this back corner, but again, they're going with the dive here. So jumping into this next fight, sound barrier to come, and certainly the blade will follow. But they need to set up. They need to create an opportunity for themselves to get aggressive, dive into the back line, and start finding some kills. And we will see Erky already under fire, so he's not going to want to pull this out anytime soon. And he actually falls.
That is a huge one, since Hafiko is going to be able to pick up a double kill. And with the rest of his team now still doing work, we will see Elevote be probably staggered there, losing the suit. We'll also potentially see Aafox going down late, and this is definitely not what you're looking out for if you're Angry Titans.
Yeah, Craggy just buying so much time for his team. They'll easily be able to get this down to the 319 mark that they had and potentially make another stop. They have, of course, the nano boost yet again here. Could put it onto Fusions. You really could, to be able to put some pressure onto Erky, but they're going to look to probably back that blade up with a Transcendence to keep him safe and make sure that he doesn't have to spend a lot of that time. But the stick comes out. Aafox denied. They can't do it. Again, time allowed by Craggy for his team to set up even more. He's down pretty low, but going to be helped now by the Ana, and Onigod certainly looking worse for wear in this matchup now.
And this is what we're talking about time and time again with these latest changes, especially since, again, another late pickup there. Hafiko finding another kill onto Onigod this time around. Instead, it's that much more time lost in that time bank.
It's draining.
It's rough.
It's so draining. I mean, when you're in a team trying to posture up an attack and you have all these ultimates banked up, you guys are talking about how you want to use them, and then every like 15 seconds someone goes down, someone is losing their life, and then it's just more time off the clock. They've drained off about a minute already without even taking a fight, but here we go. This is the opportunity. Fusion starting things off with the nano boost onto him. He lands right onto Aafox's head, secures that kill. That's both supports dead right at the beginning of things. Luckily though, for Angry Titans, they didn't throw anything out in that fight, so it's just a fight lost. They don't come away, you know, losing any ultimates and hurting their economy, but still, things looking good for those guys.
Because they themselves only really used the nano boost to secure that team fight, which is definitely a trade I would like to have. And we'll see a swap come over from Odiad. With that Widowmaker, we'll look to potentially get those sidelines available to him. He does get a couple of picks here and there, however, it's going to be really rough. We will see them try and dive onto the opposition, and Aafox already forced through that Transcendence will be Erky pulling out the blade. Sound barrier popped. Kib though finds Onigod, and we still has the blade if need be, but it seems like they don't even need it. They will still continue to push them away with the help of Fusion's Primal Rage. Havoc picks up another kill. Blade does come out of Kib just to secure this team fight, and with 1 minute 40 seconds remaining and only Primal Rage available for Lulzish, this is looking disastrous for Angry Titans.
They're gonna make some changes here. Adjust Erky's role to the Soldier 76, trying to obviously hold from high ground where he can put some pressure, a little bit more of a static position, but a lot more dynamic damage that he could find onto multiple different targets, and that's something to look out for. But look at all of the possibilities for those guys defending. They didn't even really have to do that much in that last fight, but again, the nano boost onto Fusion's just going to be backing them up as he gets aggressive. They're going to pull this one back, but they're really only going to have one fight left because that's going to be a Primal Rage for Lulzish. He's going right in. He's purpled. He's going to be also thrown over by the Discord, and now he's down to about 200 HP. I don't know if he even gets out of this one. Barely going to save his life for now. He's going to get some healing. Erky now under fire as Bach is now pressured by Onigod, and it's going to be Craggy coming back into it. He has the pulse bomb, but he's in the back line trying to deny Ludi. They already won the fight. It's just going to be cleanup. A couple of late kills perhaps coming out, but as Craggy throws out the pulse bomb, doesn't find anything, it's going to be one more opportunity here. One more fight with a tank composition coming out from Angry Titans. This is desperation.
Oh, but look at that. Kib instantly recognizing that, makes the support to the Junkrat, and if he could get into a good position, he could also just shut this down, and we'll see a mad dash for that point, try to do something. Primal Rage will be forced out of fusions, look to build some space. Crusade though, picking down a kill onto AFOX, gonna be big to start out this team fight. Sound barrier did go down, but again, overall, can they still somehow do it? Onigod gets a kill onto Avical. Erky got one as well, but Craggy still answers. He's the target of the nano boost, just ripping through the opposition as he gets a triple kill, and the quad denied by Crusade, but it does not matter as they will just get the win instead.
So after the news that we just got of Krems having a better opportunity, I think is the quote that Piece of Cake threw out on their Twitter, and we saw Heiko, of course, going over. You have to wonder, man, with the performances that we've seen so far between Craggy and Kib, are they going to be next, man? Because these guys have been lights out. You see Kib with the tire here, securing those kills onto Erky, and Ludi shutting down that attack, but these guys between them have been so crazy. This whole team of those guys has looked phenomenal as well, but they're going to take it on the second map here.